have a new stool here at my workbench. It rotates. Friday! Q&A. Fanmail. Lovely. A little late. I'm only actually filming this on Friday at like 6 o'clock. So, bear with me. Next events, obviously, in a couple of weeks, I'll be going to CaptainXavierNerf battle in Dallas. More on that, actually, a little bit later. And then in July, I will be at Foam Fest in Europe, as well as gallivanting about Europe. More on that at some point. Let's get to some questions. Rex Riggum asks, why do you think AEGs aren't more popular in Nerf? Who on earth says AEGs aren't popular? They're actually incredibly popular. They're just not very common. Hasbro put out a couple of them, the Stampede, the Vulcan, some of the Dart Tag blasters, and then they quit making them. And then we didn't see them again until things like the Challenger and whatever the other Colonel Wasp one is, those started appearing. They're incredibly popular. They just haven't been very common, was the thing. And the reason that you didn't see a lot of people modding them was, one, because they weren't very common, and also because they're very complicated compared to, say, springers or flywheels. They, gearboxes and all that jazz are a lot more complicated than just spinning wheels or a compressed spring. But I think with the Colonel Wasp and the Challenger coming out, I think they're going to become real popular. I definitely want to get my hands on both of those because they're cool. They're also expensive, and I haven't been offered to review any of them yet. I think they actually did at one point and then forgot about me, which is tragic. But, yeah. I think it's pretty much just comes down to not being very common. Chris McClure. If you could set up a duel with any historical figure and Judd the Aussie Nerf cowboy, who would you choose and what would you have them use? I would, of course, go with Ned Kelly, and I would have them fight with rubber emus. Just to hit all the stereotypes and be as offensive as possible. Nicholas Cruz, what would be the best way to carry a lower back mounted blaster? Well, possibly a holster. Depending on the blaster, you could put a holster in that held it at a slight angle so it was gravity held in, but there's any manner of movements that might cause that to come loose. If you can get your hands on them, holsters would probably be the best option. Just because you can mount anything pretty much anywhere with magnets. So that's what I'd look into. Let's get folding! Will you do the Goodwill Nerf hunt shopping again? Eventually. Possibly. I think I actually have a bunch of footage of a few that I did that never actually got uploaded. I don't live near 10 Goodwills anymore. I haven't for quite a few years. The closest Goodwill to me is either a half hour south or a half hour north. And so I don't get the opportunity to anymore like I used to. Now, when I occasionally travel much further north to the Tacoma area or down south into the Vancouver-Portland area, I usually will, but even then I generally will hit 3 at most. I don't do 10 anymore, and so the footage isn't as interesting. And I've gotten to a point with my collection that I don't buy much in them anymore because I don't need to build up a large stockpile of stock blasters. I have a large stockpile of stock blasters, so I know that they were hugely popular. Pretty much all of my most viewed videos are Goodwill videos, but I just don't have the opportunity to anymore. And with gas prices being what they are, it would not be remotely financially viable. Doing with Dave. How would you go about doing custom sounds for Nerf Blaster? I actually was going to do a video on that, and never quite finished it. There is a board that you can get. I don't remember who makes it or what company made it, but it is specifically designed to allow for this specific thing. It is a soundboard. You can download a file onto it, or multiple files onto it. You can actually put Logic on it. And then you hook it up to a battery and a speaker, and when you hit the button, or whatever the trigger is, you can set the trigger, obviously, in the code. It'll make the noise. You use a soundboard. That's how they do it in toys. I would do it exactly the same way they do it in toys, and the Nerf blasters that have sound. You just have to have that same setup train. But with a custom board that allows you to put your own sounds on it. So, yeah, the technology exists. It's out there. You can get it on Amazon. It's cheap. Eskild Hagensen, what is your opinion on Tolkien? Well, he died 10 years before I was born, so I never met the man. I don't really have any opinions on him as a person. I have seen interviews with him, and I rather enjoyed them. I liked that he kind of didn't really want people reading too much into his books. It's like, it's a book, it's for escapism. Read it, enjoy, forget how horrible life is for a little while, and that's what it's about. His work is absolutely amazing, obviously. The fact that he wrote the actual languages, and a lot of the book came from the languages rather than him writing languages just to fit into a book. It's not like a lot of things where they make up a language, but they only make up enough of it for the one scene it's going to be used in. No, Tolkien had the entire vocabulary and the alphabet and all of that before he started writing, and it's just amazing. I've loved it since I was a little kid, when I first saw the cartoon versions of The Hobbit, and then read The Hobbit, and read The Lord of the Rings, and the Silmarillion. I try to reread the Silmarillion every year. I have failed to do so for years. Yeah, I love it. Gustav, will you be bringing patches with you on your trip to Europe? Yes, if I can remember to make a bunch. And what is the correct way to recommend a person or persons for promotion in the auxiliary? There kind of isn't, really. I suppose you could reach out to me if you have someone you think is deserving, but for the most part, it has to do with service in the field is how you get promoted in the auxiliary. But by all means, reach out to me if you have someone in mind and feel you can justify it. Robot Monkey! Nightingale versus Strife mod thoughts. Well, my first thought is that they're so different, I'm not sure where to even begin to try to compare them. I mean, one's a half dart, one's full length, though you can make it half length. One is magazine in the grip, one isn't. One has stock and barrel attachment points, the other one doesn't. One has been around for like 7 years and has tens of thousands of mod options for it. The other's been around for a month and has very few. Not sure what you're looking for here. Not sure. Michael Nimrod, what is your favorite Springer? Still the Stampede. Still the Stampede. Just, I love it. Ha Quiman, which blaster will you be bringing to Europe? I don't know yet, but probably not my really fancy ones, as that's a really long trip and I'd be worried about them getting lost or stolen or damaged. So stuff I'm not terribly worried about losing. If I really need blasters, I'm sure I can beg, borrow, or abscond one to use in the field. Spider Giant. Do you like short dart mag adapters with no lever? Personally, no. I like to be able to hit the lever and have the magazine drop because it's faster to reload that way when you can drop with this hand and reload with this hand. If you tend to play in a place where dropping the mag isn't such a good idea, like if you're always in a place with a cement floor, that might not be your style, in which case pulling it out and dropping it and loading another one might be easier or more convenient for you. But that's my personal preference. Vincent Widdershoven. Have you ever received a package with content so strange and weird that you cut it out of the video? Oh yes. Oh yes. T-Bug20. Have you ever considered trying out the Mayfly kit for the Maverick? Absolutely, of course I have. I want to get the kit and put it into one of the broken gear-up Mavericks I have, because that would be fabulous. James Wyman. Would you be interested in acquiring a stock Titan rocket body with 2 of the fins? Absolutely. I have all of the technology and materials to fully repair Titan rockets, so by all means, send it on over. Mailing address in the description. Cassie Heath. What are your opinions, if any, on Dandelion and Burdock? I have none, because until this comment, I had never even heard of it. It sounds fascinating, and I would love to try it, but yeah, shipping me something that I might find to be horrific is dubious. But I know a lot of people, and some of them have different tastes than me. I'm sure I can find somebody to swill it, if I don't absolutely love it and drink it all myself. Barasta! What food and drink are you looking forward to trying in Europe? Whatever they put in front of me. I don't actually know anything about Danish, German, or Netherlands food in particular, other than, well, little bits. I'm looking forward to all of it. That's kind of what I've told them, is I'm trusting you implicitly. Feed me the things you think I would like to be fed, and show me the things you want to show me. And it should be, it's going to be a fabulous trip. I'm so looking forward to it. Speaking of which, El Camonto! On a scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for your trip to Europe? Oh, definitely a 10. Maybe even a 10.5. I'm super excited. I haven't been to Europe since 2016? No, 2006? Ugh, I'm old. I'm really excited for this one. It should be a lot of fun. Definitely going to be better company than the last trip. Ugh. And finally, TJ. When can we expect a call to arms for Jared's Epic Blaster Battle 7? And will that one include a loadout video? Kind of never. It's not the kind of event that would have a call to arms, because it's not a remotely organized event. The call to arms are for things when I'm actually looking for, you know, volunteers to lead me, to follow me in a squad, and Jared's Epic Nerf Battle isn't that kind of event. Now, I do plan to set up an FOB at Jared's Epic Nerf Battle, a dedicated little area for the auxiliary to put their gear and all of that so it's safe, and just because it's cool to have your own little FOB in an event like that. But I will probably do a loadout video, though I am basically just planning to bring my heavy HVZ loadout, and then a couple of silly ones for the various silly rounds. I'm not planning to bring anything super big. I'm not going to be bringing tier or the smart gun or anything that would require me to bring the big trunk again, because that's just not ever happening again. But I can get my heavy HVZ loadout into a small trunk that is small enough to just be checked luggage. And since I'm flying Alaska, I get a free checked luggage, so it doesn't cost me an arm and a leg to get my stuff there anymore. I suppose if I do the loadout video, it would probably be also kind of include the call to arms, just the an announcement that I'm going to be doing these things. There will probably be the, you know, YouTubers versus everybody video or battle, which I will then call up my auxiliary, because that's part of my thing, and we will defend ourselves and all of that. I might do a small call to arms, just because so few people watch these videos. No one would know what was happening. But if I do a dedicated video and Jared can put it on his web, or his all that. Anyway, yeah, I'll do one. I will. Soon. Eventually. Maybe. Hit that! Ha-ha! I hit the tripod, and that's good enough for me. Right, I have a single package, but I believe it is going to be both a dubious and an auspicious one. So, to the loot! Right, we have a single package here from the inestimable Daniel Dillman. It's not actually from eBay, despite what the tape might have led you to think. And we're going to get into this thing. I don't know if there's an actual side I'm supposed to open, but the box has an opening flap, and so I'm going to open it that way. Maybe. Like an old Lego set. Oh, look at this! Speaking of Lego. Ooh, I do not think I had that one. That is super cool. That is going in the collection. Very neat. I would think this would make it hard to actually operate the blade, whatever, but whatever. Ooh, a baby raptor. And the amber thing. Super cool. Jurassic World. Neat. That'll be good. A tribble. I've been sent another tribble. Pretty sure I have a tribble somewhere. Monster. That is so creepy. Oh, that is creepy. Wonder if Swamp Cat would like to play with it. Swamp Cat has returned, by the way. No, you may not see her. Gum! What's that gum? I don't chew gum. It's a filthy habit. But, but it's all of the different mint flavors. I might chew gum just for that. Alternatively, I'll give it to people who need it. Another Polar Ice. Okay. Winter Fresh, yeah, Peppermint Spearmint. What is Polar Ice? They're just making up mints now, and now I'm curious. Right, what? A Benjamin Franklin head. squishy. It's weird. I dig it. Hurling that at somebody. And it looks like a pair of Adventure Force Nexus Pros. Very cool. Very cool. They will make... I think I only had like one, maybe two. I had more at one point, I think. But I think they went to people in need, and now I shall have them as loaners. Because they are excellent blasters all around. Maybe I'll actually get around to... Well, I do actually have one that I'm tinkering on to mod, so these will probably just go in the loaner pile. Any more bits? No more bits. Okay. Very cool. Very, very cool. Got the adapters. Most excellent. I have plenty of magazines and all of that. So, good, solid loaner blasters for higher cap games. Most excellent. Well, as always, Mr. Tillman, you spoil me, and I appreciate it all. And thank you guys for watching.